Hi, everybody. I'm Judy the YouTube Lawyer here. Today, we're going to be reading the very brief decision by the Court of Appeals in Sigfredo Garcia's case. So this was actually issued pretty quickly. His appeal was filed in January of last year, and the Florida Court of Appeal came out with their decision later on last fall. So I see we have a lot of our regular viewers here, so thank you guys all for being here. Let's just dive right in because this is actually a very short document. So I'm going to be able to read over this quite quickly. Okay, so it says First District Court of Appeal, State of Florida, Sigfredo Garcia versus State of Florida. On appeal from the Circuit Court for Leon County, James C. Hankinson, Judge, September 29th, 2021, per curiam. Appellant Sigfredo Garcia appeals his convictions for first-degree murder and conspiracy to commit murder, and the state cross-appeals. Appellant asserts on appeal that the trial court erred in its ruling on the state's discovery violation and in its response to a jury question during deliberations. For the reasons that follow, we affirm appellant's convictions and dismiss the cross-appeal. Several days before the jury trial, appellant's counsel was informed by the co-defendant's attorney that the state's expert in bullet path documentation, Robert Yao, changed his opinion about the height of the shooter upon reviewing additional documentation following his deposition testimony. When Yao informed the prosecutor about the change in his opinion, sometime within 2 weeks of the trial, the prosecutor advised him to notify the defense. Appellant's counsel did not bring to the trial court's attention prior to trial that the prosecutor failed to disclose to him the change in Yao's testimony. In fact, defense counsel sat through opening statements and the testimony of 6 state witnesses, and he waited until Yao, the state's 7th witness, was asked about his opinion on direct examination to raise the discovery violation. The prosecutor stated she was unaware that Yao informed only the co-defendant's attorney and not appellant's counsel that there was no bad faith on her part. Defense counsel indicated that he believed the prosecutor and the error was not the state's fault, but that of Yao. After a Richardson hearing, the trial court denied appellant's request to exclude Yao's new opinion testimony upon finding that the state's discovery violation was not willful and did not result in procedural prejudice, which ruling appellant challenges. The state argues in part that the issue was not preserved. Because appellant did not timely bring the discovery violation to the trial court's attention, we agree with the state that the argument was not preserved and accordingly affirm as to this issue. See Scott versus State, stating that a discovery violation is waived if not timely raised, and noting that had defense counsel been aware of the substance of the witness's rebuttal testimony, he should have raised the alleged discovery violation prior to the witness's testimony. Also, Major versus State, where a defendant fails to timely object to a discovery violation or to request a Richardson hearing, the defendant does not preserve the point for appellate review. See also Guzman versus State. Okay, with those case citations. During deliberations, the jury submitted the following question. According to the law, are there any exceptions/exemptions to an individual being a principal to a criminal act? Little arrow sign. R.E. Instructions, page 5, principles, paragraph 1, quote, commit a crime, end quotation. Another arrow, paragraph 1, arrow, that the criminal act be done, i.e., principal to any act, end quote. The trial court was concerned about guessing what the jury was asking and proposed giving the following response. I have given you the full definition of principles. There are no exceptions/exemptions to an individual being a principal to a criminal act. I am not clear about the rest of your question. Please clarify your question for me. unquote. Appellant's counsel took the position that the jury's question should be answered in the negative because the defendant had to be a principal to the charged crime, not to any act, but stated he, quote, will defer to the court, unquote. Counsel then affirmatively agreed with the trial court about seeking clarification of the jury's question, stating, quote, let's clarify, unquote, and, quote, that's fine, Judge, unquote. Counsel never raised an objection to the court's proposed response. In fact, when the court stated, quote, if y'all don't have a problem, I will go ahead and give them this answer, unquote. Defense counsel responded, quote, of course not, Judge, unquote. The jury was given the court's proposed response and did not clarify its question. For the first time on appeal, appellant challenges the trial court's response to the jury's question and asserts that it was a confusing misstatement of the law and invaded the province of the jury. However, appellant cannot benefit from his silence and acquiescence, and we affirm as to this issue based on his failure to preserve the alleged error. See Romero versus State, finding the error unpreserved, where defense counsel made a suggestion, but then assented to the trial court's proposed answers to the jury's questions. Tate versus State, stating that the appellant did not preserve his challenge to the trial court's answer to the jury's question, where he did not object and actually agreed to the court's response. Saylor versus State, affirming as to the appellant's argument that the trial court erred in responding to a jury question because the issue was not preserved with a contemporaneous objection, and noting that, quote, this approach, whereby a party waits to see if the jury renders a favorable verdict while the party withholds a claim of error in the process, is the type of gamesmanship which the contemporaneous objection requirement is designed to prevent, unquote. Because we affirm appellant's convictions, we dismiss the state's cross-appeal as moot without further discussion. See State versus Ward, affirming the appeal and dismissing the cross-appeal as moot. Albritton versus State, same. Appeal affirmed, cross-appeal dismissed as moot. Lewis, McCarr, and Bilbrey, justices, concur. Okay, so the attorneys here were Bayer Harrison III of Monticello for Sigfredo, and Ashley Moody, Attorney General, and Robert, quote, Charlie Lee, Assistant Attorney General, Tallahassee, for the appellee cross appellate. Okay, so that was a very short decision. So Sigfredo's appeal got shut down pretty quickly. He's going to be in prison for life for the first-degree murder conviction of law professor Dan Markel. So another thing I'd like to throw up here, since otherwise this would be a really short live stream, right? Because that was a short document. I had a really good question from one of the viewers, and the person wanted to know what would happen if Luis Rivera died before Charlie's trial. So what would happen to his testimony? So I did a tiny bit of online sleuthing. Again, the disclaimer is that I am not licensed in Florida. I'm only a licensed attorney in North Carolina. So this is the Florida statute regarding hearsay exceptions, declarant unavailable. So it says definition of unavailability. Unavailability as a witness means that the declarant, A, is exempted by a ruling of a court on the ground of privilege from testifying concerning the subject matter of the declarant's statement. B, persists in refusing to testify concerning the subject matter of the declarant's statement despite an order of the court to do so. C, has suffered a lack of memory of the subject matter of his or her statement so as to destroy the declarant's effectiveness as a witness during the trial. D, is unable to be present or to testify at the hearing because of death or because of then existing physical or mental illness or infirmity. Or E, is absent from the hearing and the proponent of a statement has been unable to procure the declarant's attendance or testimony by process or other reasonable means. However, a declarant is not unavailable as a witness if such exemption, refusal, claim of lack of memory, inability to be present, or absence is due to the procurement or wrongdoing of the party who is the proponent of his or her statement in preventing the witness from attending or testifying. Okay, so here we have the hearsay exceptions. The following are not excluded under Section 90.802, provided that the declarant is unavailable as a witness. A, former testimony. Testimony given as a witness at another hearing of the same or a different proceeding, or in a deposition taken in compliance with law in the course of the same or another proceeding, if the party against whom the testimony is now offered, or in a civil action or proceeding, a predecessor in interest had an opportunity and similar motive to develop the testimony by direct, cross, or redirect examination. Okay, so, anyone that really cares can read the rest of the statute later, since it's up on the screen. But there you go. So if Luis Rivera were to have some sort of mental problem or become really ill, or if, God forbid, if he were dead by the time of Charlie's trial, then they could still provide his former testimony from the previous trials, as well as from the deposition that was taken in the other case. So same thing goes with any of the other witnesses, such as June. So that's a good thing to know, and a really good question there. So thank you to whichever subscriber was that posed that question. I'm sorry, I forgot the person's name. So I'll just look in the chat box now. I know it's a work day, so there aren't as many people here today. Thank you, Peanut, for being here. Thank you, South African. Thank you, Nellie, for being here also. I think you said you were from Japan, right? Okay. And thank you, T-Town Trekker, Serial Killer. Hi, Angela. Thank you guys all for being here. It's like we have a big group of people, right, who are just obsessed with the Dan Markel case. And there is definitely a lot of information to cover. So much is out there, which further draws in more interest because it's such a complex murder conspiracy case. Yeah, thank you, Shalom J, and Tony always being here. Sports Bad Call says wanted to know more about what the FBI found out regarding Sigfredo Garcia, Charlie Adelson both having Sully Dawson's contact phones. I'm not sure. I mean, I thought I read or heard somewhere that it didn't really have any sort of effect because this guy was known, I guess, he repaired a lot of people's cars, so it wasn't totally strange that they might have had the guy's cell phone number. But then again, from looking at some of the stuff that's been out there, including a more recent post on Fancy Fiction, it looks like this guy doesn't have a very good reputation, so who knows what he might have been involved with. So I'm not sure what the effect of that is, but I don't think it was really like any really important piece of evidence. The fact that they both happen to have this car repair guy's number in their phones. So anybody know otherwise, please let us know. Yeah. Thank you, Z Storage, always being here also. Hi, Lily, Jahan, and Fancy Fiction is here from Los Angeles. Thank you so much. I can't wait. Let us know if you already have a date scheduled for your debate with Mentor Lawyer about Charlie Adelson's guilt or innocence. So I would love to watch that live. That's going to be very interesting. Thank you, Fancy. Let's see. Oh, tuning in from the Netherlands. Thank you, Lily. Okay, so Fancy Fiction says, I've read this long ago, but I still like to listen to Sigfredo feeling. Yeah, so that's why I titled it as the court Smackdown, because it was just such a short decision where they're just like, what a stupid appeal. Go away, get back in the slammer or stay there. Yeah, so Fancy, are we going to get our fix today? Okay, yeah, she did say that she feels like a crack dealer, right? Because there are people just like bugging her all the time as to wanting another upload. Yeah. Okay, thank you, Peanut. Thanks, Pancakes, for being here also. Yes, definitely justice for Dan. I'm so glad that a lot of people tuned in to watch the video interview of Dan Markel's mother, Ruth Markel, and I hope you guys will also support her by pre-ordering her book on Amazon. It's called The Unveiling, and it should be available at the end of September. Oh yeah, you guys are true addicts. Dang, I will for you guys. Thank you. I love all that information you give us. Okay, hi Skeeter Girl. Nurse will be, oh, okay, so you'll watch later. Okay, thank you. If Garcia wasn't happy with his trial, he should have taken this. Well, I'm sure he would have imploded just like Katie did, right? I mean, there was a reason why he ended up not getting up on the stand. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Oh, great. True Lifestyles is here. Please subscribe to her channel also for lots of juicy details about jail life on Charlie Adelson and Katie. Thank you, True. I hope you have a new video out soon. Okay, so what if James Geiger dies? He spotted this. So yeah, so the same thing goes with him. If the witness is unavailable for whatever reason, then they can still, put up or show his previous testimony, because he was cross-examined by somebody that also had a similar interest as, say, Charlie Adelson. So yes, I mean, it's great that James Geiger happened to be home at the time and then ran over to the window and saw the Prius driving away. Yeah, so it helps to have neighbors around who happen to be home during the daytime and are observant. Yeah. Okay, so it looks like people are saying hi to each other here. Okay, Stella says it's just so ironic that they had fancy private lawyers, but neither had decent defenses, and Rivera has a PF and oh yeah, he had a public defender. That's right. Yeah. So, I mean, I still find Rivera to be pretty credible also. So hopefully he will be fine and ready to testify again, although of course he doesn't have the best memory and he can't read too well either. So I guess it makes it really hard for him to figure out, what he should say. So yeah. Oh, okay. Great. Yeah. Thank you, Z. Sigfredo could talk too. Yeah, but it doesn't seem like it. Yeah, nobody's talking. And I feel like Sigfredo probably didn't know the whole story either, because there were these layers to the conspiracy that was at least carefully planned out in that way, so that Sigfredo and Luis didn't. Well, I mean, it sounded like they did have a talk, though. Sigfredo and Luis did talk about how they were doing it for the lady, or for Wendy, because the lady wanted her 2 kids back. So, but I think they deliberately did things through Katie to reduce the amount of communications between everybody with the actual hitmen. Yeah, will Katherine Magbanua testify against Charlie? No, I doubt it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Katie is not going to testify against Charlie. Yeah, but they still have a lot of evidence against him. Could Garcia testify against Charlie Adelson even though he is convicted? Great. Oh, okay. Thank you, Richard. Well, I mean, he could if he wanted to, but I doubt it. I mean, he didn't support Katie, even though the defense at least first said that Garcia was going to testify in support of Katie, but then he didn't. So, I think Garcia is basically not of help to anybody at this point. Were Wendy and kids really walking? Yeah, I don't think so, because during that time that supposedly they were there, the kids were in daycare and Wendy was at work or something. I mean, this is definitely something that we can ask Steve Epstein when he joins us for a great live stream on Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern time. So Steve Epstein is the author of an upcoming book called Extreme Punishment. And he's done tons and tons of research. He's talked to a ton of people to create his book about the Dan Markel case. So, but just off the top of my head, I think Luis was incorrect about that. But as long as they did see some woman that they thought was Wendy, and Sigfredo supposedly said that's Wendy, that's the lady, I mean, it doesn't matter if it was really Wendy or not. I mean, bottom line is that Sigfredo knew that they were doing it for Wendy or for a lady with kids, and that was what was relayed to Luis. Yeah. So so I don't think they were really walking down the street that day, but they could have seen somebody that Sigfredo mistakenly thought was Wendy. Yeah. Excellent point. Whoever talks first gets the best deal. Yes. Hi, Lisa S. Hi, Who Said Kate. Thank you for being here. Let's see. Okay. So Stella says, that's why I think the bump was brilliant, because they ignored Luis and didn't think twice when approached. Yeah, exactly. Oh, okay. Yeah, Palm Streams. Fancy Fiction, waiting for your next live too. Judy invited Fancy and talked to her. Yeah, that's right. So Fancy, if any of you guys want to join in again, we're going to have an open discussion on Saturday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And Tony Lombardo is going to be the guest again, but we're definitely going to open it up to everybody who is interested and wants to give a piece of their mind, or, just talk on video about the case. I saw how many people really wanted to talk the last time, so figured we'd do it again. Although we do want to talk more about the Murdaugh case, which has to do with a former attorney in South Carolina who's been accused of murdering his wife and son, as well as a bunch of other crimes. But we can definitely also talk about the Markel case on Saturday night too. Yeah. Okay, so True Lifestyles, everybody's happy to see you. Just finished a long meeting. Can't wait to work on my videos. I'll have one this week. Yeah, I can see that it takes you a long time to put together those nice videos. Can the kids get their last name back? Well, I mean, that's up to their mom. So, she's not going to change their last name back. So, once they become adults, once they turn 18, then they can change their names to whatever they want to. But right now they are still minors. So they can't just decide that they want to change their last names. Yeah. And on that note, I'm not sure if you guys saw that. It was towards the end of one of Mentor Lawyer's videos that he put out a couple of weeks ago, but he mentioned from a confidential source that when the older son's name was changed and he went to school, he ran out of the room crying or screaming. So that's what kind of second or third hand information we got. So that's very sad if it's true. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you for supporting Ruth Markel. Yeah, it was great to talk to her. I was so happy when she agreed to be on my show. Oh, okay. Can the judge order it? No. Yeah, the judge can't order that. That doesn't have anything to do with a criminal case or whatever. So, I mean, ultimately, it would be up to the children when they become adults if they wanted to change their names to anything they wanted. Okay, True Lifestyle asks, do you think the phone taps will be character evidence of Charlie's drug dealing, etc.? Oh, well, that's a good question. I'm not sure. I would probably lean towards no, because that would be definitely something that his attorney would want to keep out with a motion to suppress that as just being irrelevant and overly prejudicial to him, because he's not on trial for drug dealing. So, yeah, I mean, I guess both sides will have to weed through everything and then figure out, okay, is this relevant or not? Or should we object to this? Or should this not come in because it doesn't really have much to do with his pending charges, which are for murder or conspiracy and solicitation of murder. Yeah, so whether he's a drug dealer or not doesn't really have any bearing on whether he conspired to murder Dan Markel. Yeah. Okay. So Garcia was high and drunk and may not remember a lot of the details, and seems he didn't communicate to anyone named Adelson. Yeah, that's right. I mean, the only little evidence that we do have, if the search warrant is correct, is that I'm sorry, not the search warrant, the arrest warrant for Katherine Magbanua clearly said that there was a phone call made from Sigfredo Garcia's cell phone to Harvey Adelson's cell phone. And I think that was maybe a couple of weeks or so before Dan was murdered, or a few weeks before Dan was murdered. So that does seem really strange. Like, why would he have Harvey Adelson's cell phone number? And also, why would Katie even have it? Because there was also a statement about Katie's cell phone making a call to Harvey Adelson's cell phone prior to Dan Markel's murder. There was no need for either one of them to have Harvey Adelson's cell phone number. So, okay. I don't think he testified for Katie because Tara Kawas was coaching him and telling him what to say. His story wouldn't add up. Yeah. I mean, he would have fallen apart. And plus, he's not the brightest light either. So, even as Georgia Kappelman jokingly said on Surviving the Survivor, she said, I don't know, maybe he couldn't keep his lies straight. So, or something to that effect. Yeah. Oh, hi, Liz. Hey, thanks for being here also. Hi, Sean. Why didn't Magbanua take the immunity deal she was offered? She could have turned in the family and skated on all charges. Well, we talked about this before, but most likely it was because she basically psychologically already dug herself into a hole, telling everybody for years and years that she had nothing to do with it. She didn't know what happened. She's totally innocent. Seems like she convinced her attorneys about that too, and her family, and anybody giving money for her legal defense. So I think it was, number one, her pride or some psychological block where she convinced herself that she was innocent. And number two, just being overly confident, thinking that, well, she had a hung jury before back in 2019. So she wanted to take the chance that maybe she would be found not guilty and then she'd go free with her pride intact and everybody thinking that, oh, she is innocent. So it could have been that. So let's see. Only a parent or guardian has that right. Yes, to change a minor child's name. That's correct. Okay, why publish a book now when the case is far from settled? Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, you can we'll ask Steve Epstein that if he has time to answer it. I mean, so far we already have well over 45 questions posed by the subscribers in response to my post. So we'll definitely try to get Steve to answer as many questions as possible, but he is limited in time for his interview. Yeah. Let's see, is Magbanua's appeal already on the table? Thank you, Judy, for mentioning I'm in Japan. Yes, okay. No, as far as I know, she hasn't filed the appeal brief yet. Yes, so I haven't seen that or heard about it yet. Okay, can you check on Katie's appeals and the month? Oh, okay, yeah, sure. If I can get that information. So I did recently get the deposition of Wendy Adelson in regards to the criminal cases. So I had no idea that was out there. So after I take a look at it, I'll definitely be doing some live streams reading from that too. So there, like I said, this is a case that is never ending in its complexity and all the material information that keeps getting discovered or comes out in the trials and stuff. So it's definitely very interesting, and we still have plenty of things to talk about. Let's see. Oh, okay. Yeah, same thing with Katie's appeal. I don't know of any brief being filed so far. Okay, great. Fancy Fiction says, I'm considering doing a podcast. I've been approached about it. Oh, okay. Yeah, that would be great too. Yeah, I know that it takes a lot of time to put together that stuff too. So if you have time, that'll be great. Yeah, that was really sad to hear about the child learning about his new horrible last name. Yeah, I mean, if that's the case, I mean, I heard that on Mentor Lawyer's channel on one of his videos, and he said it was a confidential source. Yeah. Hi, Debt Free Dad. Thank you for being here. If you guys are interested in financial news or personal finance, please check out my attorney friend's Debt Free Dad's YouTube channel. Okay, Katie's appeal isn't due until August 29th, so we won't know until then. Oh, thank you, LJ. Yeah, you seem to be really on top of the case. So, okay. So Rivera testified they drove by Dan's house the day before and saw Wendy and the boys in front of the house. Yeah, that's right. But I think that ultimately people were saying that there's no way they actually saw Wendy and the boys, because during that time the boys were in preschool or daycare at the time, and maybe Wendy was at work or whatever. But ultimately it doesn't matter, because if they saw a woman, that caused Sigfredo to then allegedly say, hey, you know, that's Wendy, or that's her, that's the lady with the two kids. So let's see. Okay, so people are telling you to do a podcast. Okay, that's a lot of work, but yeah, go for it. I mean, there's just so much to talk about. Yeah. Can you check and see if and when Katie gets moved again? Okay, yes, because right now she's in Ocala at the women's prison. Okay, great. So people would love to hear you on a podcast. Hi, Antoine. Yeah, using a mic today. Yes, I am. I'm using this mic, but I'm actually in a room that has hardwood floors. So that might be creating some echo or something. I'm not sure, because usually I'm in a room that has carpet on the ground. But either way, this is a lot better than one of those conference rooms I used before where there was so much echoing. Yeah. Oh, True Lifestyles. Can you see what size underwear Katie is wearing now? Lots of laughter. Okay, maybe we'll see a nice polite request again, asking for size 8 panties. Yeah, so that's just kind of funny, because there's a request. There are all these requests that True Lifestyle showed, requests that Katie hand wrote while she was in jail. And she was asking for, magazines. Where's her Cosmopolitan magazine? Where's her, what was that, Victorious Living? It was some sort of Christian magazine that she wanted. Yeah, and she wanted bigger underwear, size 6 underwear, then size 7 underwear, more flip-flops. Yeah, she was probably dropping them off. Oh, okay, you're talking about the Wendy sighting. I'm sure Wendy made eye contact and knew who they were. Shady, driving slow and staring. She knew who they were, in my opinion. Yeah, okay, I don't know all the details about the time and all that stuff, so hopefully Steve can answer that question. Yeah. Okay. Eating chips was interesting. Yeah, no, that's okay. I think the majority of people did not like me eating the Filipino snacks and chips at that live stream, but it was sort of a joke. I was trying to be funny, but apparently it just really aggravated some people that did not like hearing the sound of me smacking and chomping on chips. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, thank you. I'm glad the volume is good. I'm trying to hold the microphone closer too. So, okay. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. Katie has been moved. The prison documents are harder to access. I've looked into it. I'll try. Okay. Good. Interesting. Yeah. I wonder if she'll find a new girlfriend, somebody that can braid her hair so nicely. Yeah. Okay. Fancy anything you would do would be awesome. I totally agree. And thanks for all you do, True Lifestyles. Okay, very interesting. I wonder if it's closer to Tallahassee or further away too. Yeah, I have no idea where Katie could be transported to. Yeah, hi, Maya. Okay, you think Katie is sizing out again. Okay, yeah, poor Katie. She was so proud of looking hot years ago, and now she's just looking quite frumpy from all the jalapeno cheese spread and whatever cheap carbs, honey buns. She needs to put one of those special covers on the mic to ensure that the echo cancels out. Oh, okay. Yeah, interesting. Okay, yeah, I was thinking about upgrading to a better microphone since my YouTube channel is doing better now. So perhaps I do need to get a better microphone. Okay, is it possible Tara Kawaz told her not to take the deal, and that's why she was crying after the guilty verdict, since this was such a high-profile case and they got a lot of publicity from it? No, it could be. I mean, but also I feel like Tara really, really believed in Katie. So she took it personally when Katie got convicted. So yeah, who knows what was really going through her mind, but Tara Kawaz does seem to be a true believer in Katie's innocence. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Y'all are too funny. Okay. I'm glad to inject some humor into this somber case. Yeah. On the wiretaps on Charlie, were there any other criminal activity discovered? Yeah, there's some talk between him and Katie about getting, what was it, a 10-pound bag of marijuana or something, getting marijuana. He's like doing insider trading, giving his parents and his friends tips on what stocks to buy because he has insider information. So I think that's pretty awful. But again, I'm not sure how much of it would really come out in the criminal trial, because it might be held that's just overly prejudicial and not relevant. So yeah, hi Seagate1, thank you for being here. Okay, can I come online to discuss something I saw in the Markel case? Sure. Yeah, let me hold on a second. I'm not sure how to do this again because it's been a while. Okay, yeah, so here I am going to put in the chat box a link if you would like to actually show up live on the live stream. Since it's only been about 35 minutes, I think I have about 20 more minutes before I really got to get back to work. So yeah, okay, I hope they bury him under the jail. Okay. Hi, Gina. Thanks for being here. Thank you so much, Judy, and everyone who covers this case. It is truly riveting, and there are so many twists and turns with so many yet to come. My heart goes out to the Markels. Yes, exactly. I mean, it was just so wonderful to be able to talk with Ruth Markel for the first time, and I don't know how she holds it together because, you know, it's just such an awful, awful situation, and she's the mother of the victim, so she's very brave and so just so articulate and just really has a lot of good words to share with people. Okay, yeah, this is funny. People calling me June. Okay, June, I need to ask if you were Magbanua's lawyer and they offered you immunity, whether guilty or not, would you advise your client to accept it? Well, I mean, hindsight, what do they say? Hindsight is 2020. So, I mean, now we know she should have taken the deal. So who knows what was going on between her and her lawyers before the trial, but just looking at all the evidence and stuff, and then just how poorly prepared Katie was for that brutal cross-examination, you know, she should have taken a deal. So that's just my opinion. But you know, like I said, hindsight is 2020. So I don't want to totally get on Tara Kawas's case or her attorney, you know, Christopher DeCoste, because you know they're doing their job. So yeah, so I would have told her to take it. Okay, yes, please let us know about Fancy Fictions podcast if you do one. For your information, I was accepted for a Garcia Facebook friend. Oh, really? On Monday. So you will update us if there's anything new. Okay, interesting. Yes, because it turns out that Sigfredo Garcia has a Facebook profile in prison. And so some people were saying that, well, I'm going to try to friend him so I can see what information he has on his Facebook page. Okay, that'll be interesting. Let us know if you see anything. Every time a layer is peeled back, something new or strange is discovered in this case. Yes, exactly. Yeah, if Kawas lied to the jury and she lied to us, then she lied to Katie. Yeah, well, who knows? I mean, but it seems like she became very close friends with her client, which is usually not a good thing. Yeah. Okay, Rich, thanks for keeping us updated. Yes, love your channel, Fancy. Just recorded the video and released the audio as podcast and the video. Yeah, that's right. That way you don't have to totally burn yourself out doing a podcast and YouTube. You know, it can be for both. Yeah, just like Surviving the Survivor, they do things for their podcast as well as the YouTube channel with the same content. Yes, thank you so much, Kay, and I appreciate your support. Where did the murder boys get the address of Dan's house for their first recon trip? Oh, I'm sure it was from Katie. I think that's what Luis said, that Katie had given Sigfredo a piece of paper or something that had a picture of Dan's face on it as well as the address. So I'm pretty sure it was from Katie. Yeah, thank you. Oh, okay. I'm glad the audio is fine. Okay. So I see Sophia is there. So let me get her on soon. Hat is off to the Markels for how eloquently they handle themselves. This has been a grueling process that I'm watching as an outsider. I can't begin to imagine what they've sustained. Yes. Yeah, I mean, I almost felt bad having to switch gears during the interview to talk about her book and her son's murder and stuff, because you can tell how happy she was recalling these like wonderful memories that she had of her son when he was a little kid and all his accomplishments and things that he did. So, I mean, it was so great to again focus on the victim and find out more about what kind of person he was. He's more than just a law professor who was killed in his garage. So, and of course, we've only heard some bad things about him from Wendy, or people who heard from Wendy about him being emotionally, quote, emotionally abusive and really mean to her and stuff. So yeah, good to hear from Ruth Markel. Yeah. Okay. Hi, Kathleen. Thanks for being here. Okay. So, okay, yeah, I saw that. Were you the one that put that comment there before about Katie needs a Lane Bryant catalog? Yeah, well, she's just wearing that jail fashion now. Yeah, ASMR. Okay, no more chip eating though. Okay. So fancy doing a podcast. She gives me a healthy dose of crack with the wiretaps. Yes, I love the wiretaps. We really learn a lot about these people's characters. Yeah, braid her hair. Come on and braid my hair. Oh, okay. R. Kelly. Okay, I thought he fell out of disfavor, right? Okay, Sigfredo and Luis probably experienced a coke-induced paranoia when they thought they spotted the windy lady. Yeah, who knows? I mean, they were totally doing lots of drugs and spent thousands of dollars on drugs on their trips. So, oh, you actually like the mukbang, the eating. Okay, yeah, no more eating. Any word on Charlie's stay? Is he in private custody? Yeah, that I'm not sure of. Yeah, I'm not sure, but maybe True Lifestyles can tell us. Yeah, Katie looks frumpy. Sigfredo is looking buff on his alias Facebook page. Okay, yeah, who knows what kind of exercise facilities they get. Yeah, wasn't it counterintuitive for the Adelsons to have paid for the Three Stooges defense? We all surmise it was them, since it gave the state even more ammunition to go and get Charlie Adelson. Well, I mean, if that's true, if the Adelsons really did pay for the defense, well, it didn't really help keep Charlie sheltered because he still got arrested anyway, even though the other three people, never pointed their fingers at Charlie. Yeah. Riding a go-kart in the neighborhood is an additional crime. Yeah, maybe that violates some sort of ordinance, right? So, okay. Those two goons shooting a hole in the first car is pretty funny, but not very bright. Yeah, I'm surprised that Sigfredo was able to repair it by getting some hose from the auto repair place. Yeah, okay, great. Let me scroll down. Sorry to jump forward. Oh, okay, that's okay. There have been other people who addressed me as June. I would love to see a comparison of the mother of Mike Williams and how she fought for him for 17 years and how Dan's mother is fighting for him now. Yeah. I think Mike Williams' mother is pretty elderly now. So, I mean, I never even thought of asking her to be on a show or whatever, but maybe I can ask through Steve. I don't know if she's in a condition to speak publicly about the case now. Yeah. Okay, Dan says only a fool would plead guilty to something they didn't do. Katie Magbanua is most definitely guilty and should have rolled on Chuck. Yeah. Is it? Oh no, she is going to appeal. So she has a deadline coming up next week for her appeal brief. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Richard, telling everybody to hit the like button. Thank you. Do we know the complexion of the jury 22? The jury member 19 was a younger woman. DeCoste flirted with, in my opinion, during the trial caused a hung jury. I remember judge admonishing defense to stop private info. Yeah. I don't know anything about the demographics of the jurors. Yeah, so sorry, I don't have that information. Maybe Mentor Lawyer does because he was actually there in person watching during the trial. And also Steve Epstein was there for at least part of the Magbanua trial recently. Would love to hear from anyone who knew Wendy directly or tangentially to come on your show. I don't know. I feel like, a lot of people probably would not want to go public if they actually were friends or former friends with them. Yeah. So, but I haven't been contacted by any of her friends. Yeah. Really good. How good of an attorney could Kawas be if after reviewing all the evidence still believe Katie was innocent? Yeah. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Nellie. Oh, Judy, it's a pretty lady. I think she's smart. Yeah. And I just really would not want to spend my hard-earned money buying Louis Vuitton bags. Like I was looking at this $19 purse at TJ Maxx, gasp, and I was debating, should I buy this purse? It's $19.99. Do I really need a new purse? So nah, I decided not to buy that purse for $19.99. Okay, Cheryl Williams is a force, most impressive. Yes, exactly. She really fought hard and she wanted justice for her son for so many years. I'm glad she lived to see what happened and saw those perpetrators behind bars. What does your gut tell you, Judy, on Charlie's case? Guilty or not guilty of first-degree murder? Well, I would like to think that he is guilty of first-degree murder, but you never know what a jury might say. I don't know what his defense is going to be. So, it seems like there's just overwhelming evidence. Everything he did was stuff that a truly innocent person wouldn't do. So anyway, so we look forward to seeing the debate between Fancy Fiction and Mentor Lawyer on Deep Dive True Crime, where they will discuss that more, whether Charlie is guilty or there's enough evidence to find him guilty. Yeah, couldn't Garcia now turn? Yeah, but see, I don't think Garcia really knew much, or if anything, about Charlie's involvement in the murder, though. I think Katie probably just told him it was to get some woman her kids back. Yeah, so I don't think Garcia would really be helpful to the state. Yeah. Donna uploaded a video to YouTube 12 years ago titled Harvey the Giraffe Kisser, and it's still up. Really? Okay. Thank you for that information. Okay, so let's all search on YouTube for Harvey the Giraffe Kisser. Okay, that sounds kind of gross. Okay, that's funny. Poor giraffe. Okay, so sorry about keeping you waiting, Sophia. Are you still there?
Of course, I'm still here. Who would want to leave you, Judy?
Turn up the volume here. Okay.
Can you hear me? Something? I said, who would want to leave you? Of course, I'm here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there are just so many comments and stuff. And then I was like, oh, I better bring Sophia on. Yes. So what would you like to say to everybody?
Hello, everybody, first of all. And love the show. Everything is going really, really good. Few things I've noticed about Wendy, or I got a thought about it. The person who set her up, Wendy and Professor Lacasse. Now, I'd like to know, was it a Wendy who told that person to fix her up with Professor Lacasse? Because it could be all that she saw him and she saw, okay, he looks like my husband. He will be jealous if I date him. And she found out, oh, he's single. So she gets the middle woman to, set up the date for them. I would like to know from that middle lady, how the hell did she get the idea to set them both up for a date? Because this could be another manipulation on Wendy's behalf, right?
Yeah. Well, that's what I have no idea. I mean, I looked up the woman and Jane, and she did end up getting her PhD at Florida State, and she's a professor at University of Georgia now. So who knows if she later apologized to Jeffrey Lacasse, and who knows if she's still friends with Wendy or not.
But at least then we will know. Now, you and I can't contact that lady, but perhaps Georgia Kappelman should, and find out that was it Wendy who asked for this date, and the whole thing could be manipulation from Wendy's mind. She saw him and she said, okay, this guy, he looks like my ex-husband. This is perfect to make him jealous. Let's go for it. And she gets this middle lady. Then she says, okay, I can't go up to him and say, I want to date you. Go and find out some details about him. And this could be the thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that would be really cold, though, because I think Jeffrey said they started dating in October of 2013, and then things became more serious, say, in late February or March of 2014. Absolutely. So I mean, I think it's kind of far-fetched that Wendy deliberately, stalked him out and wanted to be set up with him back in late 2013 to make him the patsy for the murder. But stranger things have happened. You never know.
Sorry, Judy. First time, the idea of getting the hitman for Dan appeared in 2013, dear. Because if you go through, listen to what Professor Lacasse is saying. He said, first time Wendy mentioned the TV and the hitman, that was October 2013. Now, what makes me think that, then if she mentioned that as soon as they started dating each other, that she was thinking he could be the person to go and do the deed. But then she finds out, no, this guy is too sweet to do anything like that, right? So
Yeah.
she had to find somebody else. And this did not happen until Katherine Magbanua didn't come in frame, right? Because Katherine Magbanua was not dating Charlie at that time. They only started dating 2014. So murder happens in 2014. But this idea already happened because if you do listen to Professor Lacasse, he says that she mentioned this back in October 2013.
Yeah. And then supposedly Charlie was already trying to find a hitman back in, say, summer of 2013-ish.
That's right.
Mhm.
So that's why I'm thinking, because Wendy's very, very smart and cunning lady, very cunning person. And I'd like to say to all our listeners, if any of you know a person who can tell from the body language what the person is thinking, please get that person on the show and ask him or her to do a Wendy's interview, go through the interview and find out what is she's trying to project.
Yes. Well, you might have seen the comments from a psychiatrist from California who has posted a few comments on some of my videos, and I asked her if she would like to be on a show or join us for a show. So hopefully she will, because she says she's worked with prisoners before and has a lot of experience doing forensic psychiatric work. So, and she's also Jewish, so she's been following the case like crazy. So I really hope that the psychiatrist will be willing to join us sometime soon.
Well, that would be great, because that would be like icing on a cake on your show, What other thing I noticed, I went through, that 6 hours interview of law enforcement, Wendy and the police officers. She was putting her head down and she was scratching her face. I find that very weird, that while you're doing the interrogation, she's scratching her face.
Oh.
Yeah, I find that very weird. It means something. Obviously, it was a fake cry. I knew from the one, same as Fancy. Fancy thought that was so fake. Oh my God.
Yeah. And also, or maybe just like hiding and constantly, clutching her face. Like it seemed more like acting, the more I watched it, it was like, okay, well, this seems really excessive for somebody who hated her ex-husband. If I found out, somebody that I totally hated had just been shot, I wouldn't be like boo-hooing and bawling all over the place.
Oh, please don't call him Daniel. It's Danny. He liked to be called Danny. What she's trying to do, I mean, I'm not a behavior expert, but I've seen a lot of cases, and I'm a crime buff, to watch all these cases. So when she's scratching her face and she's saying certain things, like every time she mentions at the trial, when she talks about bullet bourbon, there is a big smile on her face.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like she can't control herself. The glee is peeping out.
It's like a duping delight is called in a behavior experts, they call it. So I actually think Wendy was involved from day one, and I agree with Fancy, and I think she will go down for some reason. I think whoever is up there, like God, you call it, or the master of this universe, or universe itself, she's going to get punished for what she's done. She's got guilty written all over her face. Even though she can't scrunch up her face anymore because she had some Botox, I can tell.
Yeah.
Her forehead, it looks a bit weird. But she wants to show everybody, hey, I haven't aged. I can wear the same dress over and over again.
Yeah, she hasn't gained weight. Yeah.
Right?
Okay. Well, do we think Charlie is fixing it? No, I'm sure. Well, first of all, he doesn't have access to those implements and the sharp instruments and stuff, but I doubt they would just let some prisoner do dental work on another prisoner. So, yeah. Okay. Well, Sophia, unfortunately, I do have to wrap things up
Sure,
because I
sure,
have to get back to my actual clients for work
So
and stuff.
when
Yeah.
I find out, I'm gonna go through that video again. I want you to see that she's scratching her face. I find that very weird.
What was she talking about, or what were they asking her when she was scratching her face?
She's just talking about Dan,
Mhm.
but she's scratching her face, and I found it really, really weird.
Mhm. Yeah. Well,
Really.
there are people who found a lot of stuff really, really weird about that whole interrogation. So I did I told Mentor Lawyer on one of his chats the other day that we should do another rewatching of the whole interrogation video because other people have said they would be interested in doing that. So he said, okay, sure. That sounds like an idea for the future.
And
So,
get a panel, right? Like a panel of people who go through each set. Okay, what do you think
yeah.
happened here? What do you think happened? What is she
Yeah.
thinking? From her body language.
Mhm.
She
Yeah.
wants under
Well,
the
I mean, that's kind of hard to do unless we have our own personal connections because, most of these experts, they want to be paid for their time. They're not going to take like an hour or so out of their daily lives to just get on some show. But I was thinking I do have a couple of relatives who are psychiatrists and I never even talked to them about this case, but maybe I will see if either one of my psychiatrist relatives would be willing to
Oh, that
sit
would
through
be
it and then give comments. But you know how a lot of people are, they're professionals and they're worried about their professional reputations and they
yeah.
feel like, oh, maybe I shouldn't do this for some YouTube show. So, but anyway, yeah, there are some people we can ask in addition to that psychiatrist I mentioned who
I think that
comments.
would be a great idea. Get your whole family around and get this sorted.
Yeah, let's all get together. Yeah, but then there's also the whole issue of, copyright issues or whatever. Yeah, because that's really information that Deep Dive True Crime got. So I don't think I could just just snatch his content away and try to do something about
But
it. But
there are other it's on YouTube anyway.
mhm.
It's
Yeah,
not just on ML's channel. There it is
yeah.
available, and I'm sure he wouldn't even mind because
Mhm.
he's a very kind and very fantastic man. I like him. He's really good. I think the whole community is really good. You're doing something different, and there's another lady, the True, what's her name is
True
True
lifestyles.
True Lifestyle. She's doing something else, and Fancy's doing something completely different, and ML's doing his work. All of we people who go everywhere, to all the channels. We are community. We are family. We
Yeah.
want to solve this. We are all asking for a justice for Dan.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
people need to know there are good people out there and they do stick together. And yes, they do make a difference.
Yes, exactly. And so, by the way, so right now we finally do have a new time for me and for Mentor Lawyer and I to read Dr. Jerome Obed's deposition. So we're
Mhm.
planning to do it. I think it's again going to be a joint live stream on both this channel as well as his channel, Deep Dive True Crime, tomorrow at 1:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So he's going to be playing the role of Jerry Obed, and I will be Kawas or the attorneys asking questions. So you guys please tune in tomorrow at 1:00.
Of
See,
course
this
I
has,
will.
this has like become a part-time job. I really got to get back to my real job though, but
When you
it's
do
too much,
lives
too,
really late at night and it's midnight here, I mean, I
oh.
can hardly keep my eyes open. I try my best, but then I catch up on the next day. Please try to do it about this time. This is a perfect timing.
Okay, that's great. Okay, well, thank you for tuning in. So I'll take you off the screen
Okay.
and the
Love
live
you,
stream
sweetie.
then.
Mwah, mwah,
Okay.
mwah.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Constitution Mendez, for joining in, and Dan, everybody here. Yeah. Who knows? Maybe her friends and her attorney are watching us, right? So, okay. Yeah. Don't worry. Watch it on replay then. So, Okay, hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. And again, unless something else changes, we plan on doing a joint live stream tomorrow at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on this channel, as well as Mentor Lawyer's channel, Deep Dive True Crime, where we are going to be reading the deposition of Jerome Obed, who was Charlie Adelson's former roommate. So thank you guys for joining in. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.